But wait, Obi-Wan was cut down by a lightsaber. He's still
Well, right,
alive.
but he turned into the Force. Yeah, he could come back as the Force ghost kind of thing.
Well, maybe the Force. Maybe there's a Force ghost for good guys and for evildoers.
There's gotta be. I mean, there's no reason why. Not because technically, and I hate to quote the sequels, but the prequels, because remember when he lied to Vader, to Anakin, and told him, "Oh yeah, I know the power, to keep people alive with the metachlorian manipulation thing."
Right.
When he actually came time to do it, he's like, "To achieve death is a power only one has achieved." Like, who's the one? Who's he talking about?
It's him
Was he
himself.
talking about Darth Plagueis, or was he talking about Qui-Gon Jinn?
No, because Darth Vegas.
Vegas.
We're going to Vegas.
Darth
Woo!
Vegas, baby.
He's like he has an Elvis like toupee, and he's like
And he's got like a slot machine on his chest.
because Darth Plagueis died. So the Emperor was talking about himself. Remember when Mace Windu was holding the lightsaber to his face? He's like, I can't hold it anymore. He couldn't hold his life force anymore.
That's the thing. The thing is, according to expanded universe, that's supposedly canon. What he was doing was he was using a Sith ability called that was like a some sort of a mask. So like the old ugly emperor is the real emperor,
Yeah, that's the
and
real him.
he's using Sith ability to mask and not look like an evil, demon thing.
Right, and
But like,
that's why he was like, I can't
and,
hold it any longer, and then it's like
right,
turned
it
into
wasn't
his real
and,
self.
exactly. But but this is the thing. It's like it's got to be Qui-Gon. In my opinion, Qui-Gon has to come back as a Force ghost because he supposedly is the only person or the first person who can come back as a Force ghost. Because they hinted at it in Episode 2, where Yoda was meditating, and you hear Qui-Gon's voice.
Yeah.
He's meditating. He's like, Anakin, no, and he never said that in Episode 1. So it's like it's clearly like he was watching what was happening and
Well, I
trying to
think.
like stop Anakin, and Anakin couldn't hear him.
Well, I think that I honestly think my opinion about that arc is that it is something that George Lucas instrumented into the prequels just to keep people's attention and to like have people think that in episode 3 they were going to see Qui-Gon Jinn, Liam Neeson again, and it never
Yeah,
happened. And I think
I have no idea why it didn't happen.
I know, me neither, but I think it was instrumental to keep people's attention who like us looked at the prequels and were like, "Oh my god." Like maybe the saving grace would be to have a reunion between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. But it never happened. He only mentioned him after again in episode 3 at the very end when
Very end, yeah. He's like, "Oh, I'll teach you how to talk to him."
I'll teach you how to talk to him, and then we're left in, oh, I have to read a book now again,
Right.
you know, to
Which made no daggone sense. And then it's like, okay, if that's the case, then how come Qui-Gon Jinn doesn't show up at the end of Return of the Jedi with everybody else?
exactly.
We see the Force Ghost Yoda, we see Obi-Wan, we see the new Anakin in the remasters
Oh
that they
god,
redid.
that was the worst decision ever because you
I don't know. I understood that decision. I
no
think that was actually a good decision.
no he had to age.
Because but no, because the thing is that the and Obi-Wan said it. He said when he ceased to be Anakin Skywalker and became Darth Vader, when that happened, the good man who was your father was destroyed. So technically, that means Anakin died when he became Vader, which means that if he turned back to Anakin, the good Anakin is the young Anakin, and everything after that is Darth Vader. So
I
it
just
makes sense that it's not the old that we don't see. Obviously, they couldn't do that in the original because they didn't have a young Anakin.
well how
But
about right, well, but how about why not when look, take it a step further and digitize Hayden Christensen's face onto that poor old man who they removed his likeness, his clear appearance as a Jedi, who played Darth Vader. And when Luke took off the mask, why didn't they like just remove the head and put like Hayden Christensen in an
because
old state?
that is the age he's supposed to be aged at that point. He's supposed to be like 40 or 50 years old and
Yeah.
burned. So like that's fine. Like the new one, he's supposed to look like that.
Well,
But
he went ahead and removed his freaking eyebrows and did all this like work to like make it look like it was in episode 3. How like he burnt all his face off and everything. So I mean, I understand up to a certain degree to do that, but I think honestly, like and I'm going into a total different aspect right here of thinking. I'm more of like a film preservist, and like to remove somebody's work like that just goes into a different topic altogether and a different podcast altogether. But I just think it's kind of like criminal to remove somebody's work like that. It's kind of like, I don't know.
I mean, it technically was his own work. It was George Lucas' own work.
It was his work, but the actor who did it, spent God knows how many hours in makeup, and to do all that stuff back in the day. Even though he was compensated, but still, like just God
he
knows.
was the same actor who was in the suit. So who was in the scene with this when he took the mask off anyway.
Yeah, he was the same guy. Yeah, it was the same guy. However, I think in a view of pure preservistness or preservism, for preservationist, as far as like film, it should have just stayed the same, because then like you could see, okay, like he's a Force Ghost, because look, Obi-Wan was still good all throughout the whole thing. He died like an old man. So does it mean that in order to stay young, you have to become evil when you're like at a mature age, and then so that your old self?
But that's the thing. It's like he came back as an old man because he was good throughout.
Well, why don't you come back? Why didn't he come back? Okay,
but Anakin was not, and Anakin was not, and I think it establishes why, to a degree, why Kylo Ren and all these people are still revering Darth Vader as such a thing, because like, you weaken the evilness of Darth Vader if he turns good again at the end.
Yeah.
But if you establish a finite line that he was good until he became Darth Vader in the suit, and that was the end of him.
Yeah.
Then everything after that is pure evil.
I think
it makes more sense.
Right, but pure evil that was coaxed or coerced.
Because nobody knows that he killed the Emperor.
Right, but if he was pure evil, then Luke would have never said, "I sense good in you," because he's
true.
So he was not pure evil. He was good because he thought his way was right. And according to George Lucas, and this should be a movie according to George Lucas, and like it's like there's also a movie called The Trial of George Lucas, but then there's according to George Lucas, the reason why
George Lucas Revolutions.
Yeah, the reason why he went on his whole tirade of becoming Darth Vader was because he lost Padme.
Well, first of all, this is the thing. It's like we have to completely ignore the prequels.
Well, wait a minute. You can't, because if you throw Hayden Christensen in there as being the good Anakin, then you're just validating the prequels. You cannot take. You can't give and take.
But what I mean is that like prequels ruined Darth Vader, and they should have
Let's just not. How about this?
My opinion.
Forget about the prequels.
That's my opinion. That's what we really needed.
Yeah.
You just have to forget about the prequels.
Forget about the prequels.
And just look at episode 4, 5, and 6, and then continue from there.
Right.
And if you look at it that way.
Yeah.
But,
forget.
And see, but this is the thing. It's like, because you look at episode 6, we lose the evilness of Darth Vader because he's good at the end, or at least he comes around and saves Luke at the end. That's not a bad move.
No.
So it's odd that he's still being
revered as evil.
As an evil. I mean, I understand it from the point of view of everyone else, though, because no one else knows he was good.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Nobody else saw what happened in the throne room.
Exactly.
So they think that he was just destroyed in the Death Star.
Exactly.
And then he is being martyred. His evil is being martyred. And that is where people getting him wrong. So then Luke disappears because he doesn't want to have to do any part with any type of story or anything like that, and he doesn't want to take his father's role. And he feels like he might want to.
And he clearly doesn't want to be the hero of the rebellion.
Right, he clearly doesn't want to be the hero, and he doesn't want to institute a new Jedi Order, and he doesn't want to be, the cause. He just wants he probably becomes a pacifist.
Well, he ain't no pet. I just think he goes into hiding and he's like just waiting to die, and he wants all the stuff to just die with him.
Yeah, that's it. Because that's what he said to the Emperor he was gonna do. He's like, "You're gonna die with me," and that's it. The last of the Jedi will you be?
Exactly.
And that he took that like to heart, and he was like, "Well, yeah, I am the last Jedi, and I don't want to pass. I don't want to pass on the teaching that could probably corrupt somebody."
For real. Because it's like, well, if you stop the Jedi keep turning into Sith left and right. So just stop it.
Yeah, just stop there.
But yeah, anyway, back to the trailer.
Real.
After we just rediscussed like the whole half plotline of Star Wars.
I know.
Some other cool things that was in the trailer. We saw Leia is back. So, and she didn't look that old. Obviously, that's the makeup.
And the CGI possibly. CGI facelift.
Well, I hope. Well, who knows? Yeah. But then like they show, like it seems like, which we mentioned off air previously, that like the whole story about everything that happened with Jedi and Sith and all that stuff has been relegated to just like fairy tales.
Right. There's no
in
way that
the
there's
general public. People don't believe this stuff anymore.
You can't tell me that there's an all-encompassing force that has everything.
Right, some all-powerful force controlling everything. There's no mystical energy field that controls my destiny.
Yeah.
And then he ate those words. So it's him. It's Han Solo telling John Boyega and Daisy Ridley's like, yo, all this stuff you heard is real. The Jedi are real. The dark side, it's real. Right.
He switches roles with like Obi-Wan.
Exactly.
Like, that crazy old man is now me.
For real. And he's kind of, which is strange because.
Right, but not to interrupt you, but do you remember where they were?
Yeah, they were on the ship.
They were on the Millennium Falcon. In the same room where Luke was training, and he was sitting down at the control panel when he was young. And he was just like, this is all fairy tales, like, you know, no hocus pocus. A good blaster at your side would help you.
But, so I don't, I guess we have to see the movie to figure out how.
Are we going to see the Star Wars chest again in all its glory?
The chest?
The chest set.
Oh, the I don't see why not. That's too much of a nostalgia point for them not to bring back. They have to.
Yeah, it has to come back, but it has to come back the way it used to be, not CGI, but.
Well, the holograms we can do now. So.
Well, like it has to be holograms, but it has to be claymation.
Yeah.
Like it can't be. They'll probably do is, or what they probably already have done is called the Robot Chicken people and said, hey, make this again. Like just make all the monsters and the creatures that come out, make it look like the original. They probably did.
Yeah.
Or, just all claymation because that's how it looked.
Yeah, it has to.
Yeah, it can't be like CGI, you know.
True. Yeah, it can't be that way.
So, I mean, that would be freaking incredible. And now, what I'm hoping for is J.J. Abrams don't touch it after it's finished. Just let it go. If there's something wrong with it, if there's something horribly wrong with the finished product at the finished movie, then yeah, I understand a touch up after it comes out on Blu-ray, or digital download. But just don't do the error, because I mean, with this power comes this like dark side to George Lucas's work.
It's like everything is never finished.
Everything is tentative. It's like Kylo Ren in episode, like we're gonna make a prequel movie with the X-wing thing. Oh yeah, that's right. Kylo Ren's hair is like shaved, so let's go back and let's digitally remove his long hair because it just doesn't mix with this and that.
And that's another thing it worries me, but I guess it's gonna be good. All of these auxiliary and anthology movies that they're planning. Rogue One is also something that's gonna be set like 15 years before Episode 4, and there's gonna be a Han Solo movie or something, like a young Han Solo.
Han Solo. A young Han Solo movie with who? Oh,
some dude.
Some dude, yeah. Who
I
looks
don't know
like
who it
Harrison
is.
Ford, right?
Yeah, kind of. But it's just like
You know, it'd be great if they make the Han Solo trilogy into a movie.
that would be horrible.
I think it would be awesome.
But I mean, like, it's
The
gonna be
books? Have you
Space
ever read them?
Indiana Jones. Oh, the books. Oh, okay.
Well-
Oh, okay. When you said trilogy, I thought you meant okay.
Well, there's 3 books. It's called the Han Solo trilogy, and it's right before episode. Actually, the final book is before episode 4, A New Hope. When he in the very last pages of that book, he's like, he goes off into Tatooine and Tatooine's atmosphere, and then he tells Chewie, "I wonder what we're gonna find here." And then Chewie's like, and then he says something to Chewie, and then he says, "Well, at least I can't say I have a bad feeling about this." And then he just goes into Tatooine, and that's where the book ends. And I'm like, oh my god! So I had to watch episode 4 to continue it, and then, and it shows about what happened between him and Lando when they first
how
met.
he got the Falcon.
How
You
he
know
got
that's
the
no
Falcon.
longer canon, right?
Huh?
Because I said you know that's no longer canon because they've changed it.
Well, yeah. Well, no. But these books were made before the prequels.
No, I know, but I mean, it's no longer canon because they changed what was considered canon. And we're gonna have to have another podcast
Well,
about
wait a minute.
the topic of canon.
But wait a minute. Did they change everything that was after episode 6, or everything, all expanded universes, like thrown out the window?
All expanded universes thrown out the window.
Hmm.
There are new expanded universe books that will be considered canon that are going to be released after the movie.
Right. Well, isn't there one already?
There's like 1 or 2 right now that are official canon that have been released, but
It doesn't take place after episode 7. They're holding off all books that are canon that take place after episode 7 until the movie comes out.
Right. Of course, not after episode 7, but like after episode 6. I think there's 2,
Yeah.
3.
there's Aftermath, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then there's someone's writing Shattered Empire. There's canon stuff in production, and I think Aftermath is something. It's a book that takes place after episode 6, after Return of the Jedi, which to my knowledge nobody really likes, but they're still doing 2 more anyway.
Nobody likes it.
Yeah, I think like whatever people are like, this sucks.
My God.
But it's book 1 of 3, and they're going ahead with at least the second one, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, like all expanded universe that existed before is pretty much thrown out the window.
So truth at Bakura is just gone.
If it's after episode 6, throw it out.
Yeah, it was. It was right after.
Now
The
there
close
are
credits.
still some books. There is on Star Wars. It's Star Wars 7 News. Or Star Wars News 7. I think it's StarWars7News.com. A few weeks ago there was a list that they've been compiling of all the books and stuff that is expanded, stuff that is still considered canon, and they put it in chronological order. So like some of the books like
Shadows of the
Tarkin,
Empire.
I think Shadows of the Empire, the Sith Lords series, all that kind of stuff is still considered canon because it's before 6.
Yeah.
So, but there's a whole list. I've been looking. I have to go and look at it again because they keep updating it as like stuff happens. But it's a whole list of everything that's considered to be canon from the entire of everything. But this is like I said, we have to have another separate podcast about the nature of canon in books, movies, and anime.
Everything just blown out the window.
It's just a label they put on stuff. It's a temporary label.
Yeah, it's gonna be called the Social Cast Cafe. Shoot it out the cannon.
Shoot it out the cannon.
But yeah, so that's it.